Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. Airfix models have been part of my hobby since, I don't know, since I was about 6 or 7. And basically making models was introduced to me by my dad. And I still have a vivid memory of, I don't know why, we were sat on a carpet, we were sat on the floor and he was taking the parts off a kit. It was a black kit. Um, it was just like that shiny black that Airfix used to produce some of their aircraft in. Now, it was probably a Lancaster, and as I say, I can remember sat next to him whilst he was taking the parts off and he was showing me how to glue parts together. And the kits that are in front of you are basically from back then. They're not original, so they're not, 40 odd years old. But they're the type of kit that I was building as I was growing up. I was into wargaming, and so the Churchill and the Grant, for instance, would have been bought to put with the Airfix figures and the Matchbox figures, and the Wasp there would have been a kit from that period, when I was around about 9 or 10, that I would have made. So although these kits are old moulds, um, there's the nostalgia involved in them, and at the same time, you can still produce a decent looking kit, just with a bit of extra work perhaps. The Churchill really is just a great build. As you know, I've built the Crocodile recently, and there's no real problems with them at all. This one had a few issues where filler was required because some of the parts have been mismolded, but again, just great builds to do. Possibly a few mojos flagging a bit, where it doesn't really matter if it isn't perfect. It's just something to throw together. Now what I've got here is a kit that I bought not so long ago, but it's basically from the period we're talking about, and I'll just show you what they were like when you bought them. So here we have the DHC2 Beaver 1/72 scale from Airfix. As I say, I think I got this off eBay. Not a kit that I would have built as a kid because it hasn't got guns or bombs. I've mentioned that before, so it didn't interest me at all. So let's have a look inside the box. As you can see, the box itself is, I was going to say aged and a bit daggy, but just looking at this just brings back fond memories. So there we are. We have the obviously the instructions. Quite straightforward. One of those kits that I was looking forward to building, and then it got stuck in the loft. So quite simple instructions, should be quite straightforward to put together as long as there's no fit issues. And here we have two variants. You can build it as the US Army version, or you can build it as British Army without the floats, although it looks like it's got skis. As you can see, the model's finished in a silver plastic, and I do remember either the silver or the black. The big bombers, the Sterling, the Lancaster, Halifax, I remember them all being in black. I had an Airfix shooting star when I was a kid. I remember that being in silver. So what I like is you've got one of the original stands still in the box. And it looks like it's got Airfix embossed on there, which is pretty cool. So, raised detail, raised rivet detail, flash on some of the parts. But this is, you know, this is what I grew up with, and you just got on and, I mean, look at the flash on that, look at the flash there, and you just got on and built it, you know. Great fun. So that was Airfix when I was younger. Then I kind of didn't do any modelling for quite a while. I was into wargaming quite a bit, and then it wasn't until 10 years ago I got back into hobbying, and I was picking up the Airfix kits again that I was, you know, that I used to build. But then there was one kit that just blew my mind, and it was a new tool by Airfix, and I'll get that now. So here it is, the North American F51D Mustang. Now, when I opened the box the first time, one of these, I've built several since, it was just wow. Airfix have come so far in producing kits, and to be fair, it's you know, it's got to be down to Hornby taking them over and trying to make a go of them. This kit is just superb though. It is my favourite. I'll say P51, I know it's an F51, but it's my favourite Mustang in 1/72. It's my favourite P51D because they do the P51D. My favourite so far, P51 BC, is the Rebel kit. So if I'm using aftermarket decals to make an aircraft, obviously I identify which type it is, whether it's a D or a BC, and then I'll buy either the Rebel kit or the Airfix kit. Let me just open the box and we'll have a look inside. So there you have the bagged kit, beautifully recessed panel lines. Detailing is just wonderful on this kit. Obviously no flash on it or anything. They, you know, compared to the Beaver, this is just, well, it is the next generation. Come to the instructions. As you can see, I mean, look how many steps to this build. I'm not suggesting that's a particularly good thing. I mean, you know, it's obviously because of the detailing in it. But man, I can't remember how many steps the Beaver was. Was it something 7 or 8? And this thing is up to 24 steps. But you know, just absolutely wonderful. Tread on the wheels, just fantastic. And then the colour callouts. So you got the Dominican Republic aircraft there, and then you got the Mustang for the United States Air Force in Korea. Of course, one of the great points of the Airfix kits is their decals, which are just stunning. So we've gone from the early Airfix. I mean, John Parker will show you the boxes that were produced and the blister packs that were produced very early on in Airfix, in the Airfix model ranges, when they first started. And I've shown you the built early ones, and obviously the boxed early Airfix kit that I used to know as a kid. And now I've shown you the box of a kit that Airfix produced now, which are just absolutely wonderful. And just to finish off, I'll show you this Mustang built up. So here it is in all its glory. As I say, I've made up both. I think I've made up both aircraft from that box, but I had to do this one first. This is the most intriguing. I just love the camo on this. So no fit issues with the P51D or the F51D. Just love this model. And that's the end of, well, it's not the end of the story. Obviously I'm still building Airfix. I'm still looking forward to the kits they're producing. They're coming out with some absolute crackers, they really are. And it's just a joy to be building them and having them sat on my shelf. I think I've bored you guys long enough, so thanks ever so much for watching, and I'll catch up with you soon.